Okay, today we're going to talk about the problems with nutrition research. And this goes to the root of the problem of a lot of the confusion when it comes to dietary advice. Turns out that humans are actually really poor test subjects when it comes to nutrition. Mostly because to do a really good experiment or a really good study to find the effects of some kind of dietary intervention, you probably would have to lock a human in a chamber for 6 months to a year, measure every single thing that they ate, record it, control everything they ate, monitor how many calories they expend 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for a long time. And most humans are not going to sign up for that study. So the best we can do is to do animal studies. Now, this is used in pharmaceutical studies because it's like an initial phase to make sure that a drug is safe and maybe effective before you move on to human trials. But this often doesn't happen when it comes to dietary research because the funding's either not there or, like I said, humans are just pretty poor test subjects when it comes to being locked in a place and being told exactly what to do and eat for a long period of time. So when you hear about this big study that came out saying this amazing supplement or this eating style has been proven effective, often it's only been tested at best on mice. And sometimes the research is done what's called observational research on humans, but again, this is also flawed because this is usually just done by getting a survey and having the person fill out what they ate that day or the day prior. And the one thing we know about people is our memory sucks when it comes to trying to remember what we ate and drank. We almost consistently always underestimate how much we ate. If you ask somebody, hey, how many calories do you think was in that meal? They're almost always going to say lower than what it actually is because we're not built for predicting this stuff. So a lot of the nutrition research out there is just it's flawed from the outset. And that's not that the scientists aren't trying to do their best. They really do an amazing job at trying to factor all the stuff in and make as good of an experiment as possible so that you can hone in on, what are you trying to test? What are the outcomes of it? But it's almost impossible to do that on people. One really famous thing that happened recently, I think it was a few years ago actually, it was when Resveratrol was in the news and every media outlet was harping on Resveratrol being this wonder supplement. It was supposed to prolong life and prevent cancer and, make your skin glow and all this amazing stuff. And it turns out Resveratrol is in red wine. So people were super excited. They're like, oh, wow, I can drink red wine and I'm drinking to my health. Cheers, I'm going to live forever. But that study, all the headlines and all the media buzz was actually based on, I think, a single study that was done on mice. And the amount of resveratrol, the amount of red wine that they had to drink to get the appropriate amount of resveratrol to get the benefits that they were showing in the mice, a human would have to drink 1,000 bottles of red wine a day to get the same benefit. Maybe some people out there can do that. Maybe some people have tried, but that's that's not realistic for most people. But everybody ran with that headline for months, maybe even a year or more, until it finally came out like, okay, got a little ahead of ourselves. This isn't actually realistic. So all these resveratrol supplements that people were buying pretty much turned out to be useless. And this is the case for a lot of supplements and a lot of research findings. I've taken courses that actually make you read the research. And let me tell you, these actual research, when you read the scientific literature, what a lot of these headlines that you read in the news are based on, they almost never make the claim that the media outlet pulls and then puts it as a headline. Because these scientific journals, these scientists are very careful to say, okay, this is the outcome that we got from this study, but more studies need to be done. In science, you always have to have multiple experiments run to validate an outcome because it has to be replicated. You can't just say one study gave me an outcome, this is the end of it, we have the answer. So in real life, it doesn't work that way. But the media has to run with something. So when a study comes out and has a really interesting finding, the media will almost always pull that, put a sensational headline, and then throw it in front of people's faces. People they're not going to read the actual research article, so they read the headline, they get all excited, they go buy a ton of supplements or change their diet based on whatever this headline says, and fortunately it's not going to make any difference in a person's life. So nutritional research is also very, very new. I think it's only been around for a few decades. It's very new on the scene. So aside from the fact humans suck as being lab rats and having our diet really, really controlled, it's also just as a scientific field very young. So it's not that we don't get interesting things from the field. And again, scientists are working really hard to get some clarity, but it's not the end all be all. So please do not get super hyped over the next headline that you read, because there will be more. I guarantee you. The next headline that you read that says so and so is the next amazing supplement or the wonder drug, or like this eating style is going to change your life, because it's probably just an article that is trying to get your attention, trying to get your eyeballs, and the study itself, even if it was done well, probably didn't make that specific claim. So buyer beware when it comes to nutritional scientific research. They're doing their best, but very unfinished. That's it. See you in the next video.